John Miller moved quietly among the busy crew members on the bridge of the USS Horizon. He carried his toolbox in one hand while checking his tablet with the other. As the ship's maintenance technician, John had access to almost every area of the vessel. This was both necessary for his job and dangerous because of his well-known curiosity. "Miller, don't forget to fix the air recycler in Lab 3, called Sam Carter, the chief engineer. John nodded and gave a quick salute. "On my list, Chief. Right after I finish the lighting panel in Corridor B." Sam shook his head with a small smile. "Just fix things. Don't improve them this time." Everyone on the Horizon knew about John's habit of tinkering. Last month, he had tried to make the food dispensers work faster. The result was 3 days of meals shooting out at high speed, hitting unsuspecting crew members in the face. John was heading to his next repair job when Captain Lisa Wright's voice came over the ship's speakers. "All senior staff to the bridge. We have made contact with an alien vessel." John wasn't senior staff, but his repair work was in a corridor near the bridge, so he heard the excitement in the voices of the officers as they rushed past him. He couldn't help but follow them at a distance to listen. The large screen on the bridge showed a massive ship unlike anything John had ever seen. It was at least 3 times the size of the Horizon, with a strange crystal-like structure that seemed to shift colors as it moved. "They're hailing us again, Captain," said Communications Officer Diane Foster. Captain Wright stood tall, straightening her uniform. "Put them through." The screen changed to show a strange being. It had bluish skin that glowed slightly from within. Its head was larger than a human's, with no hair and 6 dark eyes arranged in a circle. When it spoke, its thin lips barely moved, but the universal translator converted its words to English. "Greetings, humans of Earth vessel. We are the Zelnari. We have observed your species from a distance but have not made direct contact until now. We wish to invite a delegation from your ship to visit our vessel for peaceful cultural exchange." Captain Wright looked surprised but pleased. "We would be honored. I can prepare a team to shuttle over immediately." The alien made a gesture that might have been a bow. "We welcome this opportunity. Our transportation technology is more efficient. With your permission, we can bring your delegation directly to our ship." After a brief discussion with her officers, the captain agreed. She selected herself and 5 others for the first meeting. John watched with envy as they prepared. He had always dreamed of seeing alien technology up close. Just before the team was to be transported, a junior officer who was supposed to go fell ill suddenly. Captain Wright looked around the bridge. "We need one more person, someone who can appreciate the technological aspects but won't cause trouble." Her eyes landed on John, who was pretending to work on a panel near the door. "Miller, you're always curious about how things work. You're with us now." John nearly dropped his tools in excitement. "Yes, Captain, thank you, Captain." Sam Carter gave the captain a concerned look. "Are you sure about this? John tends to be hands-on." "He'll behave," Wright said firmly, then turned to John. "Won't you, Miller?" John nodded eagerly. "Absolutely, Captain. I'll keep my hands to myself." Minutes later, a strange tingling sensation washed over John and the delegation. The bridge of the Horizon faded away, replaced by a vast room with walls that seemed to be made of flowing liquid metal. The air smelled like cinnamon and ozone. Several Zelnari were waiting for them. Up close, they were even more alien. They stood about 7 feet tall on 3 leg-like limbs. Their upper bodies had 4 arms with 6 fingers on each hand. Their skin didn't just glow. It seemed to pulse with patterns that might have been a form of communication. The one who had spoken to them on the view screen stepped forward. "Welcome to the research vessel Luminous Thought. I am First Scholar Zin Val. We are pleased to share knowledge with your species." Captain Wright introduced each member of the human delegation. When she got to John, she added, "Our maintenance specialist, he keeps our ship running smoothly." Zin Val's skin flashed briefly. "A most practical profession. Maintaining complex systems requires both intelligence and creativity." John felt proud, until Zin Val continued with what seemed like special emphasis. "Before we begin our tour, I must share important safety information. Your species' biological makeup is different from ours. This creates unexpected interactions with our technology. For your safety and the proper function of our systems, please do not touch any equipment, controls, or displays unless specifically invited to do so. The alien's 6 eyes seem to focus directly on John. This is particularly important. Some of our technology responds to neural patterns. Physical contact from a biology it is not calibrated for could cause unpredictable results. Captain Wright nodded seriously. We understand and will respect your guidelines. She glanced at John with a clear warning in her eyes. The tour began with large common areas where the Zelnari gathered for meals and social activities. John was fascinated by doors that opened before anyone touched them, lights that adjusted automatically to comfortable levels, and devices that seemed to operate by thought alone. As they moved deeper into the ship, they entered a section filled with technology that made the advanced systems of the horizon look like children's toys. Holographic displays floated in midair. Strange machines hummed with energy. Zelnari scientists worked at stations with no visible controls. This is our primary research level, explained Zinval. Here we study phenomenon from across the galaxy. John lagged behind the group, trying to look at everything at once. His fingers twitched at his sides. Everything was so new, so different. He wanted to understand how it all worked. The group turned a corner, but John noticed a small device sitting alone on a pedestal in an alcove. Nobody was watching it. It was about the size of his hand, with a glowing blue crystal in the center, surrounded by intricate metal patterns. It pulsed softly, almost like it was calling to him. John glanced ahead. The group had moved on. He looked back at the device. Surely just touching one small thing wouldn't hurt. Nobody would know. He might never get another chance to interact with alien technology. He reached out slowly and pressed what looked like an activation button on the side of the device. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the blue glow spread from the device up, his arm in thin lines like electricity following his veins. It didn't hurt. In fact, it felt pleasant, warm, and tingly. The sensation reached his head, and for a split second, John felt like he could understand everything in the universe. Then it was gone. The device looked exactly as it had before. John blinked, wondering if he had imagined the whole thing. "Miller, keep up," called Captain Wright from ahead. John hurried to catch up with the group, trying to act normal. He had touched alien technology and nothing bad happened. No alarms, no angry aliens, no disaster. He didn't notice the device beginning to pulse more rapidly behind him, nor did he see the small symbol on its side change from blue to red. John rejoined the tour group, his heart beating fast. Captain Wright gave him a suspicious look but said nothing. The rest of the visit to the alien ship went smoothly. The Zelnari showed them their living quarters, their food production areas, and even some of their less sensitive research projects. Everything was impressive and far beyond human technology. When they returned to the USS Horizon, Captain Wright gathered the delegation for a debriefing. "That went well," she said. The Zelnari seemed genuinely interested in peaceful relations. "Did anyone notice anything concerning?" The others shook their heads. John stayed quiet, feeling guilty about touching the device. But since nothing bad had happened, he decided it wasn't worth mentioning. After the meeting, he went back to his regular maintenance duties. That night, John had strange dreams. Numbers, symbols, and diagrams flowed through his mind. He saw machines he didn't recognize and understood principles of physics that had never made sense to him before. When he woke up, his head felt different somehow, clearer, more organized. He went to the ship's cafeteria for breakfast. The food dispenser was broken again. Without thinking much about it, John opened the control panel and began adjusting wires and circuits. His hands seemed to know exactly what to do, even though he had never been trained on this model. "What are you doing, Miller?" asked Sam Carter, walking into the room. "That's not your job." "Sorry, Chief, I just thought I'd fix it while I was here." Sam looked at the open panel. "How did you figure out the problem so fast? Even I have trouble with these older models." John shrugged. "Just got lucky, I guess." But it wasn't luck. Throughout the day, John found that he understood the ship's systems better than ever before. He fixed 3 long-standing problems that had puzzled the engineering team for months. He even suggested improvements that made several systems work more efficiently. "Miller, where did you learn to do this?" Sam asked after John improved the ship's communication system, making it 30% faster. "I've been studying in my free time," John lied, not sure how to explain what was happening to him. That night, more strange dreams came. This time, John saw star maps he didn't recognize and heard voices speaking in the alien language. When he woke up, he found himself writing strange symbols on his tablet. The weirdest part was that he understood what they meant, equations for energy systems far more advanced than anything humans had developed. Over breakfast, Communications Officer Diane Foster made an announcement. "Something strange is happening with our translation software," she said. "It's suddenly able to process languages we've never encountered before, languages that aren't even in our database. Maybe it's something we picked up from the Zelnari," suggested Captain Wright. "If so, they didn't mention giving us this capability," said Diane. Throughout the day, more unusual things happened on the ship. The engines were running 15% more efficiently. The navigation system could now chart courses through areas that were previously too dangerous. The medical bay reported that their diagnostic equipment could detect conditions it couldn't before. Captain Wright called an emergency meeting of the senior staff. John was asked to attend because he had been on the alien ship. "Our ship is changing," said the captain. "Systems are being upgraded somehow. Did anyone bring something back from the Xelnari vessel? Or could they have planted something on our ship?" Everyone denied bringing anything back or seeing the aliens plant any devices. John stayed quiet, feeling more and more uncomfortable. Could touching that small device have caused all this? "Whatever is happening, it seems to be helping us, not hurting us," said Dr. Patricia Daniels, the ship's doctor. "But we should still be cautious." The meeting was interrupted by an urgent call from the bridge. "Captain, the Zelnari ship has changed course. They're heading directly toward us at high speed." Everyone rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, they could see the large alien vessel approaching rapidly. "They're hailing us," said Diane. "Put them through," ordered Captain Wright. First Scholar Zinval appeared on the screen. The alien looked agitated, the patterns on its skin flashing rapidly. "Captain Wright, we must speak with your crew member John Miller immediately. It is a matter of utmost importance." The captain turned to look at John, who felt like his legs might give out under him. "May I ask why you need to speak with my crew?" "Member?" Wright asked carefully. "Our monitoring systems have detected an unauthorized activation of a cognition matrix on our vessel during your visit. The activation signature traces back to John Miller's neural patterns." John stepped forward, unable to hide his guilt any longer. "Captain, I need to tell you something," he said quietly. "I did touch one of their devices. It was small, sitting on a pedestal. Nothing seemed to happen, so I didn't think it was important." "Captain," Wright's face hardened. "You were explicitly told not to touch anything. You've potentially compromised our relationship with the first alien species we've encountered. We need John Miller to return to our vessel immediately," said Zinval. "The cognition matrix was not designed for human neural patterns. The consequences could be severe." "What exactly is this cognition matrix?" asked the captain. "It is a device that interfaces directly with neural systems to transfer knowledge. It was calibrated only for Zelnari physiology. No other species has ever activated one before." John suddenly felt dizzy. Images and information flooded his mind. Star charts, mathematical formulas, engineering principles, and things he couldn't even name. "I think it's already happening," he said, holding his head. "I've been having strange dreams. And today I just knew how to fix things I never understood before." Dr. Daniels rushed to scan John with her medical device. "His brain activity is off the charts," she reported. "I've never seen patterns like this before." "You must return him to us," insisted Zinval. "We may be able to reverse the process if we act quickly." Captain Wright looked uncertain. "What exactly will happen to him if we don't?" "We cannot be certain. The Matrix contains accumulated knowledge from our civilization's history. It was never intended for humans. Your technician's mind may be overwhelmed." Or what?" demanded the captain. Or he may gain access to knowledge your species is not ready for. Knowledge that could be dangerous in the wrong hands. John noticed something strange. He could now understand the patterns on Zinval's skin. They contradicted what the alien was saying. The Zelnari wasn't concerned for John's safety. They were afraid of what he might learn. "Captain," John said quietly, "I don't think they're telling us everything. I think they're afraid." Before anyone could respond, the ship's computer suddenly spoke in a voice that sounded almost alive. "Warning. Unknown program spreading through ship systems. All functions being enhanced." The bridge lights flickered, and every screen showed new, more advanced interfaces that no one recognized. "What's happening to our ship?" demanded Captain Wright. Sam Carter checked the engineering console. "It's like our whole system is being rewritten from the inside out. And it's coming from..." He looked up at John in shock. "It's coming from John's personal tablet." All eyes turned to John, who was staring at his hands in wonder. Blue lines, like the ones he'd seen on his arm when he touched the device, were now visible under his skin, pulsing with energy. "I think I need to lie down," he said just before collapsing to the floor. John woke up in the medical bay with Dr. Daniel standing over him. Captain Wright and Sam Carter were nearby, talking in low voices. John could hear them perfectly, even though they were across the room. "His brain scans are unlike anything I've ever seen," Dr. Daniels was saying. "It's as if his neural pathways have been rewired." John sat up slowly. The blue lines under his skin had faded, but he could still feel something different inside him. His mind was clearer than it had ever been. He understood things now. Complex. Things about the ship, about space, about the Zelnari. "How do you feel?" asked Dr. Daniels, noticing he was awake. "Different," John said. "But good. My head doesn't hurt anymore." Captain Wright approached his bed. "The Zelnari are still demanding we hand you over. They've called for reinforcements. 3 more of their ships are on the way." John nodded. "They're afraid of what's happening to me. The device I touched, the cognition matrix, it wasn't supposed to work with humans, but it did." "What exactly is it doing to you?" asked Sam. John thought for a moment. "It's like, imagine suddenly understanding how everything works. Not just our technology, but theirs too. I can see patterns now, connections I never noticed before." Captain Wright looked concerned. "The Zelnari claim this knowledge could be dangerous, that your mind isn't ready for it." "They're not telling the truth," John said firmly. "I can read their skin patterns now. They're not worried about me, they're worried about humans getting technology they've kept for themselves." The ship's computer suddenly spoke. "Captain, the Zelnari vessel is powering weapons systems." Captain Wright rushed out of the medical bay with Sam following. John got off the bed despite Dr. Daniels' protests. "I need to be on the bridge," he said. "I think I can help." When they reached the bridge, the main screen showed the massive Zelnari ship moving into an attack position. "They're hailing us again," said Diane. Zinval's image appeared on screen. The alien skin was flashing rapid patterns that John now recognized as anger and fear. "Captain Wright, we will not ask again. Return John Miller to us immediately, or we will be forced to take action. The knowledge he has accessed must not spread among your kind." Captain Wright stood tall. "For Scholar, we mean no harm, but I will not hand over a member of my crew without understanding exactly what is happening. John says the Matrix has given him knowledge. Why is that a threat to you? His mind cannot properly process the information. It will drive him insane and potentially cause harm to others." John stepped forward where Zinval could see him. "That's not true. I can read your skin patterns now. You're lying." The alien's eyes widened. "Impossible. No non-Zelnari has ever interpreted our chromatic language. The Matrix is working exactly as it was designed to," John continued. "But not as you've been using it. You've been limiting it, haven't you? Only allowing it to transfer specific knowledge, keeping the rest for yourselves." Zinval's patterns shifted to what John now recognized as alarm. "You know nothing of our ways. I know the Matrix wasn't created by the Zelnari. You found it just like I did. The difference is I accepted everything it offered. You've been filtering the knowledge, keeping the most powerful secrets from spreading even among your own people. The alien cut the communication abruptly. They're charging weapons, reported the tactical officer. Evasive maneuvers, ordered Captain Wright. Get us out of here, maximum speed. The USS Horizon turned sharply and accelerated away from the alien vessel. But the Zelnari ship was faster, quickly gaining on them. They're locking weapons on us, called the tactical officer. John stepped up to the navigation console. Let me help, I know a way out. The navigator looked to Captain Wright, who nodded reluctantly. John's fingers flew over the controls. There's an asteroid field ahead with unusual magnetic properties. If we go through it just right, their sensors won't be able to track us. That field is too dense to navigate safely, protested the navigator. Trust me, John said. I can see the pattern now. Captain Wright hesitated only briefly. Do it. We don't have many options. John took control of the ship's navigation. He guided the Horizon into the asteroid field, weaving between massive rocks with impossible precision. The crew watched in amazement as he navigated paths that shouldn't have existed. Behind them, the Zelnari ship stopped at the edge of the field, unwilling to follow. It worked, said Diane. They're not pursuing. For now, said Captain Wright. But they'll find another way around. We need to contact Earth and warn them. The communication officer shook her head. We're too far out for direct communication. Can help with that too, said John. He went to a control panel and began making adjustments. The matrix showed me how to boost our signal using the magnetic field of the asteroids. We can bounce a message all the way to Earth. As John worked, Sam studied the changes he was making. This shouldn't be possible with our technology. It isn't, John agreed. I'm combining our systems with concepts from the Zelnari and others. Others? Captain Wright asked sharply. John looked up, his eyes showing a depth of knowledge that hadn't been there before. The Matrix doesn't just contain Zelnari knowledge. It has information from many civilizations, collected over thousands of years. The Zelnari are just the most recent keepers. And now you're the keeper, said Dr. Daniels, who had joined them on the bridge. John shook his head. Not exactly. I think I'm more like a new version. The Matrix was designed to evolve with each new species that accessed it properly. He finished the modifications to the communication system. Try it now. Diane activated the system, and to everyone's surprise, they got an immediate response from Earth Command. Millions of miles away. This is Admiral Ryan. Horizon, we're reading you clearly. How is this possible at your distance? Captain Wright explained their situation briefly. The first contact with the Zelnari, John's accidental activation of their device, and now the pursuit. The Admiral's response was grave. We've detected the alien vessels on our long-range scanners. 3 more are heading your way. Return to Earth immediately. We need to prepare for possible conflict. After the communication ended, Captain Wright turned to John. Can you get us home faster than our engines normally allow? John nodded. I think so. The Matrix has shown me how to modify our propulsion systems. But Captain, there's something you should know. What is it? The Zelnari aren't just afraid of me having their knowledge. They're afraid of what happens next. The Matrix is still changing me, and I don't think even they know exactly what I'll become when it's finished. Captain Wright looked at him for a long moment. Are you dangerous, John? Not to humans, he said quietly. I still feel like myself. Just more. But these Zelnari will do anything to stop what's happening to me. And they definitely don't want me reaching Earth. As if confirming his words, the ship's sensors beeped urgently. Captain, called the tactical officer. The 3 additional Zelnari ships have changed course. They're not coming after us anymore. They're heading directly to Earth. Panic spread across the bridge of the USS Horizon. The idea of 3 advanced alien ships heading to Earth was terrifying. We need to warn Earth again, Captain Wright said. Their weapons could do terrible damage to our planet. John stepped forward. Captain, I think I can help us get back to Earth faster than the Zelnari ships. How? Asked Sam. The Matrix has shown me how to modify our engines. We could increase our speed by at least 4 times. Captain Wright looked doubtful. That's beyond anything our engines are designed to handle. They could explode. Not if we make the right changes, John said. I can see exactly what needs to be done. The captain thought for a moment, then nodded. Do it. Sam, go with him and help. John and Sam hurried to the engine room. John's hands moved with amazing speed and confidence as he changed connections and rerouted power systems. Sam watched in wonder as John worked with tools and technology as if he had been doing it all his life. This doesn't make sense, Sam said. These changes break all the rules of engineering I know. The rules are incomplete, John replied simply. The Matrix has shown me how energy truly works. He pointed to a power coupling. We've been wasting almost half our energy because of how this is designed. Within 2 hours, the work was done. The engines hummed with a new, smoother sound. Bridge, we're ready, John reported. Engage the new drive, Captain Wright ordered. The ship lurched forward, then smoothed out as it accelerated to a speed no human vessel had ever achieved before. The stars outside became streaks of light. Incredible, breathed the navigator. At this rate, we'll reach Earth in less than a day. We might even beat the Zelnari ships there. John didn't reply. He was staring at his hands, where the blue lines had reappeared, glowing more brightly than before. John, are you okay? Asked Dr. Daniels, moving to his side. The process is speeding up, he said quietly. The Matrix is changing me faster now. What do you mean? What's happening to you? John looked up at her, his eyes now showing tiny flecks of blue light. I'm beginning to understand the final purpose of the Matrix. The Zelnari discovered it and used its knowledge, but they never completed the transformation. They were afraid. Transformation into what? Asked Captain Wright. I'm not completely sure yet, but I think it's what I was always meant to become. John's voice had changed slightly, gaining a harmonic quality that wasn't human. Dr. Daniels scanned him with her medical device. His brain activity is off any scale I can measure, and there's some kind of energy running through his entire nervous system. Is he in danger? The captain asked. I don't think so, the doctor replied. All his vital signs are strong, just changing. Throughout the journey back to Earth, John continued to change. The blue lines spread across his skin, creating intricate patterns. His eyes became more blue than brown, with small points of light moving within them. He could touch the ship's computer screens and connect directly with their systems, controlling them with his thoughts. Most strange of all, he began to see things that weren't visible to the others: energy fields, patterns in space, and glimpses of what he described as the layer beneath reality. The crew watched him with a mixture of fear and awe. Some avoided him completely. Others, like Sam and Dr. Daniels, stayed close, asking questions about what he was experiencing. It doesn't hurt, John assured them. It feels right, like I'm waking up from a long sleep. As they approached Earth, the ship's sensors detected the 3 Zelnari vessels already in orbit around the planet. They beat us here, Captain Wright said grimly. They must have technology they didn't show us. Earth Command called immediately. Horizon, this is Admiral Ryan. The alien ships arrived 6 hours ago. They're demanding we turn over John Miller as soon as you arrive. They say he's stolen something dangerous from them. That's not true, John said. The Matrix wasn't theirs to begin with. They're just afraid of losing their advantage. The Zelnari claim you've accessed technology that could destroy us all if misused, the Admiral replied. They're threatening to use force if we don't cooperate. Captain Wright looked at John. What exactly will happen when your transformation is complete? Will you be a danger to Earth? John shook his head. No. I think I'll be able to help Earth. The Matrix is about evolution, not destruction. A new voice broke into their communication, a Zelnari voice. This is High Commander Vector of the Zelnari fleet. We have bypassed your primitive security systems to deliver our final warning. The human John Miller must be surrendered to us immediately upon his arrival. If you refuse, we will have no choice but to take defensive action against your planet. The Admiral's face showed anger and fear. They've hacked into our secure channel like it was nothing. Their technology is far beyond ours. Not for long, John said quietly. As the horizon approached Earth orbit, they could see the 3 massive Zelnari ships positioned in a triangle formation above the planet. Smaller ships from Earth's defense force surrounded them but looked tiny in comparison. "They're hailing us directly now," said Diane. The main screen showed a different Zelnari than they had met before. This one had darker skin with red patterns moving across it. John recognized the patterns as showing rank and authority. "I am High Commander Vector," the alien said. "You will hand over the human John Miller now." Before Captain Wright could respond, John stepped forward. "Why are you so afraid, Commander? The Matrix chose to fully activate for me when it didn't for any Zelnari. Why is that?" The alien's patterns shifted rapidly. "Your mind is too primitive to understand what you've accessed. You will bring destruction to your own kind." John smiled slightly. "I understand more than you think. I know the Matrix has chosen humans as worthy of the next step. I know your ancestors found it but never fully connected with it because they tried to control it instead of allowing it to work as designed." "Enough!" The commander's voice rose. "If you will not surrender willingly, we will take you by force. We have locked onto your ship and can bring you aboard with our technology." "I don't think so," John said calmly. He raised his hand toward the screen, and blue energy danced between his fingers. "The Matrix has shown me how your systems work. I've already blocked your transport technology." The alien commander's patterns showed shock. "Impossible. The connection should not be this advanced yet." "It is for me," John said. "I've accepted everything the Matrix has to offer, without fear or limitation." The screen suddenly went blank. "They've cut communication," Diane reported, "and they're charging weapons." Captain Wright turned to John. "Can you stop them from attacking?" John nodded slowly. "I think so, but I'll need to fully connect with the ship's systems." "Do what you need to do," the captain said. John walked to the main control console and placed his hands on it. The blue lines on his skin grew brighter, extending into the computer system. The lights on the bridge dimmed momentarily, then came back brighter than before. "I'm ready," John said, his voice now resonating strangely. "They're about to fire, but so am I." The Zelnari ships fired first. 3 beams of bright purple energy shot toward the USS horizon. Everyone on the bridge held their breath, certain they were about to die. John stood calmly with his hands still on the console. The blue energy flowing from his fingers spread throughout the ship's systems. Just before the alien weapons hit, a blue shield appeared around the horizon. The purple beam struck it and scattered harmlessly into space. "How did you do that?" Captain Wright asked in amazement. "The Matrix showed me how to convert our normal shields into something stronger," John explained. "But I can't just defend. We need to end this conflict." John closed his eyes. When he opened them again, they were glowing bright blue. "I'm going to communicate with them directly." Before anyone could ask what he meant, John's body began to shine with intense blue light. Then, to everyone's shock, he vanished from the bridge. High Commander Vector stood on the command deck of the lead Zelnari ship. Around him, other Zelnari worked frantically at their stations. "Our weapons had no effect," one reported. "The human vessel has shields that match our technology." "Impossible," Vector said. "Their species is too primitive to—" He stopped speaking when a bright blue light appeared in the center of the command deck. The light took shape, forming into a human figure. John Miller stood before them, but he wasn't really there physically. His body was still on the horizon, but his consciousness had projected itself onto the alien ship. "How are you doing this?" Vector demanded. "No human should have this ability." "I'm not exactly just human anymore," John said. His voice echoed strangely, as if coming from everywhere at once. "The Matrix is completing its work in me, and now I understand everything. You understand nothing." Vector's skin flashed with anger patterns. "That knowledge was not meant for your kind." John smiled gently. "That's where you're wrong. The Matrix wasn't created by the Zelnari at all. It was left behind by those who came before all of us. Its purpose is to find species worthy of advancing to the next stage. Your ancestors found it thousands of years ago, but they were afraid of truly connecting with it. We used its knowledge wisely, another Zelnari said. We built our civilization with it. You took what you wanted and locked away the rest, John corrected. You feared the full transformation it offers, so you used the Matrix like a library instead of accepting its true purpose. John walked around the command deck, studying the alien technology. For generations, your leaders have kept the full power of the Matrix secret, sharing only certain knowledge with your people. You've used it to make yourselves powerful, to control other species you encounter. Vector's patterns showed shock. How can you know our history? The Matrix contains the memories of everyone who ever connected with it, John explained, including your ancestors who found it. I can see their fears, their decisions to limit access to its power. On the bridge of the horizon, the crew watched John's still body. Blue energy flowed around him in a spinning cocoon of light. Dr. Daniels monitored his vital signs. He's still alive, she reported. But his brainwaves are broadcasting somehow. It's like his mind is somewhere else. Suddenly, all the screens on the bridge activated at once. They showed the inside of the Zelnari ship, where John's projected form was confronting Vector. He's letting us see what he's doing, Captain Wright realized. On the alien ship, Vector was growing more angry. You have no right to judge our civilization. We have used the Matrix to bring peace and order to our part of the galaxy. Order that benefits the Zelnari above all others, John replied. But that's not what the Matrix was created for. It was meant to help life evolve, to reach its full potential. All life, not just one species. As John spoke, his projected form began to change. The blue lines on his skin formed complex patterns that matched some of the symbols on the walls of the alien ship. His eyes shone with inner light and his voice gained deeper harmonics. The transformation is almost complete, he said, and I won't be like you. I won't keep this gift to myself or my species alone. Stop him, Vector ordered. Zelnari guards rushed forward with weapons, but they passed right through John's projected form. John raised his hands, and energy flowed from him into the ship's systems. The Matrix has shown me how all your technology works, and now I'm going to do what your ancestors should have done. I'm going to share knowledge freely, not hoard it. Alarms began to sound throughout the alien vessel. What are you doing? Vector demanded. I'm releasing the complete knowledge of the Matrix into your ship's database, John said. Not just the parts your leaders decided were safe, all of it. Your entire crew will have access to what was kept from them for generations. You'll destroy our social order. Vector's patterns now showed genuine fear. I'm setting your people free, John corrected. And not just them. On Earth, in orbit, and on the USS Horizon, every computer system suddenly activated. New information began to flow through networks and displays. Knowledge about energy, physics, medicine, and technologies beyond human understanding appeared on screens everywhere. What's happening? Asked Captain Wright as she watched the Horizon's computers fill with new data. He's sharing the Matrix with everyone, Sam said in wonder as he read the information streaming past. With all of us. Back on the Zelnari ship, Vector watched helplessly as his crew began accessing the unrestricted knowledge. Your leaders kept the truth from you, John told the alien crew. The Matrix was never meant to create one superior species. It was meant to elevate all intelligent life, to help us understand each other and grow together. Vector sank to his 3 legs in defeat. Our civilization will change forever because of this. For the better, John said. The beings who created the Matrix understood that evolution only truly succeeds through cooperation, not domination. John's projected form began to fade. I'm going back now. The transformation is almost complete. When it's done, I'll help both our species understand what comes next. He vanished from the alien ship and returned to his body on the horizon. As he opened his eyes, the blue cocoon of energy surrounding him grew brighter until everyone had to look away. When the light faded, John still looked mostly human, but with subtle differences. His eyes contained moving points of light, and faint blue lines could be seen beneath his skin when he moved. Are you okay? Dr. Daniels asked. Better than okay, John said, his voice now carrying harmonic tones. I understand everything now. The Matrix wasn't a weapon or just a collection of knowledge. It was a key to the next stage of evolution. The communication system activated. It was Vector. The attack is over, the Zelnari commander said. His skin patterns had changed to show resignation and something like wonder. My crew, they're accessing knowledge our leaders have kept hidden for generations. You've changed everything. Not me, John said. The Matrix. It's been waiting for thousands of years for someone curious enough to accept all it offers without fear. He turned to Captain Wright. Those aliens said don't touch anything. I touched everything, and now we all get to touch the future. On screens. Throughout the ship, throughout Earth, and on the Zelnari vessels, the same message appeared in every language. The next chapter begins together.